CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. A man charged with first-degree murder in the death of Otto Bunty Luce was back before the courts today. Timmy Engel appeared in a Fort Macleod courtroom via closed-circuit television from the Lethbridge Correctional Centre. However, the charges are unrelated to the Vulcan senior's death. Engel faces 14 charges related to a domestic incident. He was out on bail on the charges when the 77-year-old Vulcan senior was murdered. Luce's dismembered body was found January 15th in some brush near Clara's home. He'll be back in court to face the murder charges later this month. The domestic charges, though, have been set over until the end of March. Engel's lawyer says he doesn't plan to seek bail.
Everybody's presumed innocent. My client is in no different position than anyone else in that regard. He is maintaining his innocence. Having said that, he was on bail at the time that these offenses are alleged to have occurred. So, given that, I'm not anticipating making an application for his release.
Now, Engel's lawyer says he is still waiting for disclosure information on both the murder and domestic charges. The Harper government said it would do it, and they're about to make good on their promise to scrap the long gun registry. A vote is just getting underway in Ottawa that could finally spell the end of the long embattled Bill C-19. It means long gun owners will no longer have to register their firearms, and it also loosens the rules for the sale of non-restricted guns. The motion comes a day after the discovery of a high-powered rifle in the vehicle of an accused attempted murderer. Yesterday, RCMP found the truck and weapons belonging to Killam Mountie shooting suspect Sawyer Robison. The find comes 1 week after a deadly shooting on the Robison family farm left 2 police officers badly injured. Mounties found the Chevy Silverado hidden among other vehicles and equipment on a farm 10 kilometers from the scene of last week's shooting. They say a tip from the public led them to the vehicle. Inside, a startling find, a high-powered .50 caliber sniper rifle. The military gun can take down a target from over 2 kilometers away. It wasn't loaded, but police found a magazine of bullets nearby. Robison was on the run for 3 days after the shooting that left his uncle dead and 2 Mounties injured. Police say they are relieved to have recovered the rifle.
Very powerful weapon that can be used at a great distance. So yes, it is a concern for police, but we are very happy to get this weapon off the street.
Robison is charged with 2 counts of attempted murder. The officers accused of the shooting were trying to execute a search warrant for weapons when the gunfire erupted. One of the officers, Sid Gaudet, is from Lethbridge, and we're being told that one of the officers has now been released from hospital. A Fernie, BC woman is in critical condition in a Calgary hospital after being hit by a backhoe that was plowing snow. The 41-year-old Fernie woman was airlifted to Calgary Hospital by Stars Air ambulance around 9 yesterday morning. RCMP say the woman is being treated for life-threatening injuries, and Mounties say the woman was walking behind the backhoe while it was clearing snow at a Fernie condominium parking lot. The woman slipped and fell, then the backhoe went into reverse, running over the pedestrian. And 2 men were treated at a Cranbrook hospital yesterday after an electrical accident. The men were hooking up some equipment onto a crane that was working near an overhead power line, and RCMP say there was a bright flash and both men were knocked to the ground. A 27-year-old man was treated for electrical injuries and later released from hospital, while a 20-year-old man was transferred to Kelowna, where he is still under observation. WorkSafe BC is conducting an investigation. Well, Southern Alberta Headley fans are gearing up for their Lethbridge concert tomorrow night. RCMP are investigating a suspicious death at the group's concert in Dawson Creek, BC last night. RCMP have confirmed that a 28-year-old person died in hospital in Dawson Creek. Mounties say a fight broke out at the concert at the Encana Event Centre. The victim's friend was also injured. Police have 3 men in custody, but charges have not been laid at this point. Headley will play at the Lethbridge NMAX Centre Thursday. A Southern Alberta music star has been victimized in a break-in. Singer-songwriter Trevor Panzak had one of his guitars stolen, along with an amp, a keyboard, drums, and some stage equipment. The items were locked in a trailer that was broken into sometime overnight. The Regional Police Service is now investigating. Let's check in with Dory now with the forecast. And Dory, we've got lots of great temperatures on the way and a lot of sunshine too.
Yeah, we really do. This area of high pressure that has slid into southern Alberta and central Alberta as well is the dominating factor in our forecast features for the next several days. We're looking at pretty mild conditions, and I'll give you all the mild details coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Dory. Well, tonight, locals will pick the candidate who will face MLA Bridget Pasteur in an upcoming provincial race. Pasteur crossed the floor to join the Conservatives, surprising many in a riding that's been Liberal for more than 2 decades. Alicia Fieldberg met with both Lethbridge East Liberal nominees.
Jeff Carlson says a political shakeup is one of the reasons he's running for the Liberal nomination for Lethbridge East. The provincial riding had a Liberal leader since 1993 until the incumbent made a surprising move late last year.
It's been Liberal for a very long time, and when our current member crossed the floor, I thought we lost something very important to us, the ability to not have to toe the party line.
Lethbridge East MLA Bridget Pasteur won 2 consecutive elections as a Liberal. The incumbent joined the Conservatives in November. With a looming provincial election, that's something for Liberal nominees, including Rob Miyashiro, to consider.
Obviously, Bridget's a 2-time incumbent, so it would be more difficult for Jeff or myself, or maybe it'll be easier depending on people's feeling about her crossing the floor.
Miyashiro says aside from his Liberal supporters, he's spoken to many Conservatives who aren't pleased with Pasteur's decision and said they'd support him instead.
It's still a Liberal riding, I believe. I also believe that there's no one running in this election, Liberal or otherwise, that has my background. I have a good understanding of how government policy affects children and their families, people with developmental disabilities, people with mental health issues, and seniors.
Carlson also says he has the support of many people who voted for Pasteur in previous elections. He believes he'd be a strong candidate to face her.
Running 2 successful campaigns here in the city gives me a leg up in experience how to run a campaign.
Anyone in Lethbridge East can vote for the Liberal candidate. They can register for free, then show up tonight to cast their ballot. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The Lethbridge East Liberal nomination will be at the Sandman Hotel tonight at 7, and people will be able to register on site before the vote starts. A Southern Alberta tour operator is turning down an offer to run a bus to Grand Prairie for the Elton John concert. Steve Koch says he has been approached by scalpers who are offering to sell tickets to the Grand Prairie concert for $375 apiece. The Elton John concert in Lethbridge sold out in less than an hour. Scalpers are now selling tickets for up to 3 times the box office's highest price of $167. Steve Koch, the owner of Koch's Exotic Travel, says he's been approached by an Edmonton scalper who offered 32 tickets so he could fill a bus to Grand Prairie. But Koch says he's opposed to scalping. He also cautions people buying tickets through Kijiji or online. He says they should be concerned about counterfeit tickets or internet fraud.
First of all, I think it's a big ripoff. I don't know for sure whether the tickets are legitimate or not, number one. And number two, to take a ticket that's worth $95 and try to hawk it to somebody for $370 is a total ripoff, because, the average person can't afford that. And they shouldn't have to be subjected to that. And so it really burns me up.
While he refuses to work with scalpers, Koch says he is running 2 47-seat buses to Lethbridge and Red Deer for Calgarians who were able to buy tickets but don't want to drive. Calgary's Roman Catholic Diocese is still getting pressure from some Lethbridge parishioners. Members of the Save Our Churches Association have been unsuccessfully petitioning the bishop to reopen 3 historical churches. The bishop plans to replace them with a new mega church. Members say the existing churches are in good condition and well attended, so they shouldn't be closed. Some parishioners say they're prepared to take their concerns to the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops, and they say if there's any move to permanently close or sell the churches, they'll take it one step further.
We would go directly to Vatican, and the Vatican gives us some degree of hope because in the last year, a number of churches in the United States have been saved by the Vatican stepping in.
Historical churches have been closed for more than 6 months. Members of the Save Our Churches Association plan to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on the sidewalk surrounding St. Patrick's Church. A soldier from the Blood Reserve will get a military honor tonight in Lethbridge. Master Corporal Melissa Whitegrass will be presented with the Chief of the Defense Staff Commendation.
A vehicle-borne IED had hit us, filled with 1,650 pounds of explosives.
Master Corporal Whitegrass was wounded in a deadly attack while serving in Afghanistan in 2010. The 37-year-old suffered a concussion, broken ribs, a back injury, and hearing loss after an attack on a NATO convoy that killed 26 people. In July, Prime Minister Stephen Harper awarded her the Canadian Military Sacrifice Medal, and tonight she is to receive a commendation from the Deputy Commander of Land Force Western Area. The Chief of Defence Staff commendation is awarded to members of the armed forces who perform a deed or activity beyond the demands of normal duty. Tonight's ceremony will be held at the Vimy Ridge Armory. Well, the revival of a relay is set out to inspire a more inclusive and accessible world has hit Alberta. Rick Hansen's 25th anniversary relay traveled through Maple Creek, Irvine, Dunmore, and Medicine Hat today. More than 7,000 people were chosen to participate as medal bearers, including two of CTV's own. Weather specialist Dory Rossiter will participate in the Lethbridge leg of the journey Monday afternoon. News director and reporter Terry Vogt will carry the medal in Lethbridge Tuesday morning. The relay will last 9 months and travel 12,000 kilometers through more than 600 communities across the country. Well, on the markets today, it was a down day for our dollar. Here are the closing markets.